Welcome to today's tutorial. We're going to be looking at utilising the command window in Matlab. But before we get started, I'm using Matlab 2019B. Don't worry if you're using a different version of Matlab. Everything that we do today will work exactly the same on your version. So if this is your first time using Matlab, there are three main places you want to be focusing on when you first arrive. The first one is this large box in the middle called the command window. The next important place is the workspace, which is on the right, and the current folder on the left. So the command window you can think of as a calculator or scientific calculator, and it's really a quick and easy way of performing simple or more complex operations. So for example, we can ask what is 2 plus 3, and if we hit return or enter, that will give us an answer of 5. Okay, notice straight away that in the workspace we now have a variable called ants, and this is equal to 5. If we don't specify the name of a variable, Matlab will store the answer of the last calculation as ants in the workspace. Okay, so this will get overwritten when we ask another question. So let's say we want to know what 10 minus 7 times 5 is. Okay, notice the asterisk for the multiplication operator. We have a new answer of 15, and this has also been overwritten in the workspace. Okay, so Matlab inherently has operators for every operator that you can think of. So if we're interested in finding what the power of something is, so let's say we want to know what 3 squared is, we can go 3 to the power 2, and that's equal to 9. Or we can ask what 3 cubed is, 3 to the power 3, and that's equal to 27. And just notice how that's overwritten the variable ants in the workspace each time. Okay. If we wish to get rid of everything that we see in the command window alone, we just type CLC and press enter, and that clears the command window. And if we want to get rid of the workspace, we type clear and return, and that clears the workspace. So let's get rid of clear as well, CLC. Okay, so Matlab is a really powerful bit of kit, and it contains loads of inbuilt functions and different constants that we can use. So we can ask, for example, what pi is, so we can just type pi, and we get an answer, and we can use this and other pieces of information and inbuilt functions for our calculations. So for example, let's say we wish to see what the sine of pi over 2 is. The answer should be 1. Okay, and notice in the workspace again, ants is the last variable for the last calculation, and that's equal to 1. What if we want to see pi to more decimal places? Well, we can change the format of our output by typing format space long. Okay, and that's changed the format of our output, so we can ask to see pi again, and you'll notice that we have a much larger answer this time. Okay, we can also ask for scientific notation or other notations as well, so we can go format long space e and ask for pi again. Okay, and now this is in the form of a number e to the something something. Okay, so let's clear all this and tidy it up. Okay, so as we alluded to, we can store outputs as variables, and we can make variables. So let's, for example, say we wish to make a is equal to 3, b is equal to 5, and we can then say c is equal to a plus b. Okay, so in Matlab, the equal sign is the assignment operator. Okay, so this means that the expression on the right of the equal sign is assigned to the variable on the left. Okay, notice now that as we've specified variables, these now appear in the workspace. Okay, so already I'm getting a little annoyed that I'm seeing loads of outputs when I'm defining things, so Matlab can get a little chatty. So let's clear everything again and try that again. So clear all the workspace, clear the screen. Okay, we can suppress the outputs in Matlab by using a semicolon. So if a is equal to 3, semicolon, and enter, notice we don't get an answer out here in the command window, but it still performs the operation. Okay, so b is equal to 5, semicolon, and c is equal to a plus b. Now this time I do want to see the value pop out into the command window, so I'm going to leave that unsuppressed with a value of 8. Okay, So adding a semicolon to the end of a command will suppress the output. The command will still be executed, so you can see that in the workspace. Okay, so when you enter a command without a semicolon at the end, Matlab will always display it in the command prompt. Okay, so to make things a little easier, let's say we wanted to change the value for b from 5 to 10. Well, we could type b is equal to 10 out, or we could use the up arrow on the keyboard to have a list of our most recent executed statements. So we can just scroll up to b, move across, change this to 10, and re-enter. Okay, now we can see that b is equal to 10. What you'll also notice is that c won't change unless we re-execute that statement. Okay, and this is important. So Matlab operates line by line. So if we want to update c to calculate with our new variable b, we have to redo that statement. Okay, so now Matlab is a sensitive soul, and this means that when we are dealing with variables, it likes them in a certain format. Okay, so we can say, let's go a is equal to 3, b is equal to 10. Okay, and if we said c is equal to a plus b, but this time we used a capital A and a capital B, Matlab's going to have a bit of a problem with that because it is a case-sensitive programming language. Okay, which is also useful. So did we mean c equals a plus b? Yes, we did. Okay, so rather than just basic single element vectors, Matlab can deal with matrices and vectors. In fact, Matlab stands for Matrix Laboratory. So let's clear everything. Okay, so let's have a look at some vectors and matrices in Matlab, some really simple ones. So let's consider an event with 3 possible outcomes. Okay, so the first outcome is the most probable at, let's say, 50%. The second is the next most likely at 30%, and the third is the least most likely at 20%. Okay, so let's create a vector called probs, which stands for probability. Okay, and let's say this is equal to 0.5, so that's our 50%, 0.3, 0.2. Okay, so I won't suppress the output. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've still got the format long, so we'll change the format back to short, and then this time we can just say probs, and it'll print out our variable. Okay, so 0.5, 0.3, and 0.2. So the sum of the probability must equal to 1. So we can check that we've created the vector correctly. So we can use the sum function, open brackets, type in probs, and good, that does equal 1. Okay, so rather than making a vector the way we did above, we can also make a vector element wise. So let's say we wanted to change our probs to probs. So if we specify probs open brackets 1, we're saying probs, the first element, is equal to 0.3. Probs 2 is equal to 0.5. And probs 3 is equal to 0.2. Okay, so if we have a look at probs now, we should see the first and second elements of that vector swapped around. So there's many different ways we can look at vectors and matrices in Matlab. So there's also some useful tools that we can use. So say we have a vector containing different ages. So let's say ages is equal to 51, 47, 45, 53, 52, 45 again, and 48. Okay, and we can quickly calculate the mean by doing mean of ages. We can calculate the mode, same way mode of ages, and we can calculate the median of ages like so. So while this is pretty straightforward for a very small vector, if we have large masses of data, then this becomes a really powerful way of dealing with numbers. Okay, let's clear everything up. So as I mentioned, matrices are fundamental to Matlab, and we can deal with those as well. Let's create a new variable called a, and we want to make a matrix. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have a matrix. So we can perform operations with matrices. We can say B is equal to A plus A. Okay, there are some more nuances with performing operations with matrices, which we'll look at in another video. But for now, just be aware that you can import, create, construct matrices, and you can do things with them. Okay, so more crucially, we can use inbuilt functions and operators within Matlab to make and create vectors and matrices much easier. Okay, so let's say I wanted to create a vector of numbers from 0 to 100 in steps of 1. Okay, so we can call this A is equal to 0, and I don't want to write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah. There must be a quicker way. Well, in fact, there is. So I'll do 0 colon 100. So let's just calm that down a little bit. I'll do 0 to 20. Okay, and enter. That will create a variable, a vector, from 0 to 20 in steps of 1. Okay, so if we wanted to go from, say, 0 to 10 in steps, 0 to 100, sorry, in steps of 10, we can do that too. So we go 0 colon 10 colon 100. So what we're saying here is we wish to go from 0 in steps of 10 to 100. Okay, so we can specify any vector length and any increment step we wish to take. So let's have a look. E is equal to 0 in steps of 0.5, so halves to 3. We can do that. And then this is really a nice way of creating large vectors without having to do loads of coding. So let's clear everything and just have a look at one final example. So let's create a variable x. And we want to say x is equal to 0 in steps of pi over 100 to 2 pi, so 2 times pi. So we're using all the inbuilt functions here in Matlab, the operator and the pi constant. Okay, and then we want to say y is equal to sine of x. Okay, so we can have a look in the workspace. We have two variables, x and y, which are 201 in length. If we're interested in seeing what's in the workspace, we can type whose, and that'll pop up. We've got x and y, and there's a little bit more information that's outside of the scope of this video. Okay, so we've got two variables. Let's plot them against each other and quickly visualize what those look like. So we can use the plot function, x, comma y, and this will give us a plot of that vector versus another. So as you can see, MATLAB's really quick and really able to deal with vectors of these sizes and generating them and visualize them nice and quickly. So I hope that's helpful. There'll be more videos coming, so thanks for watching.